Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today I've got this Christmas morn nativity scene from Stampendous and this is gorgeous. I love this. You've got like a background die and then you've got the scene die. And I've got these two stamp sets that have all your Christmas sentiments from Stampendous. This is wonderful. One of them is more of a wintry stamp sentiment set, and the other one is more of a religious Christmas stamp set. And I love them both. I have got this suede paper from my girlfriend Daria. She sends me some paper, and this paper as well from her. And I kind of hoard these and look for just the right products for this. And I knew I wanted to use this suede on this nativity scene. So I'm going to I was doing some measuring, and I'm going to cut it down to, I think I do 4 by 5 1/4 is what I do. And I try to make the most of that suede paper. So I wanted to make sure I had some more of it left for another card. So I'm just going to cut it down, and then I'm going to bring in this other silver, I don't know, wavy cardstock here and die cut my nativity scene out of it. And I'm just going to cut it down to what I think I need so that I can save it. This stuff is fantastic, good and thick and just beautiful. I'm just so thankful. She sent me a good supply of a lot of different colors of the suede and this metallic cardstock, and I love it. Now you've got this star here that you could die cut the center of the star out of the nativity scene. But I don't want the navy to show through there because I don't think it's very reflective of a star. And so I'm just going to hold that star for later, and I'll die cut it out of white so that we can have kind of like a white star on top of our silver scene there. And I'm just going to bring in my Spellbinder 6 and we'll get this die cut out. Excuse me. A little bit froggy this morning. I'm doing this voiceover early. And sometimes when I do that, my voice is kind of froggy. So take a quick sip of coffee. And this die cuts out beautifully, especially with this paper. I wasn't sure because it is quite a bit textured, but it just pops out wonderfully. And I love this. I'm going to be using this scene a lot for a lot of my Christmas cards because Christmas is about the birth of Christ, and I'm just looking to make sure that I'm getting all the little bits out of there, and I'm just going to clean it up. And I'm going to lay that piece aside, and I'll bring it back in and use it for some other elements. I do a lot of Christmas cards. We have a card exchange at church, and I'll do cards for everyone in the church as well as all that I mail out as well. So here's where I'm bringing that white back in, and I'm just going to die cut several of these white stars out so that I can layer them up on top of that star at the top of my scene. And I'm just kind of chasing it around on this white piece of paper. I didn't use any tape, and I'm just going to pull them off and just do 3 die cuts on this little scrap here. And I was cleaning some bits off of my plates there when I kind of moved it off to the side. I've been getting great use out of this little scout. I love it. It is so handy. I would encourage you to check it out. I always have it linked in my description box under the craft room area. I link up a bunch of the things that I have in my craft room as well. So if you want to check that out, that's always listed in my description box. It is below the current products that I'm using on the video, but I always throw my craft room materials in there because there are some fun things in there to check out. I've even got my desk linked up. I have a desk that raises and lowers. It's, you can stand or sit at it, and I love it. And I even link that up in there. So if you're looking to shop for some things for your craft room, check that out. So I'm just going to get some glue and get this suede paper laid down on my card base. I'm going to have a little white edge around there. And that's, because I wanted to kind of salvage my blue so that I could definitely get 2 cards made out of it. And, I'll save it for later. So just get this pressed down. And I love the variation in the suede paper. If it's rubbed one way, you've got like a darker color, and the other way it's a little bit lighter. Now here I'm going to take these little stars and just stack them so we'll have some dimension on the star. And you could have used like a yellow or even maybe a little light gray for your star, but I wanted to use white just to kind of make it stand out off of my silver and kind of bring that white in where we've got the little edge around our blue. Suede paper. Had a message come in that was distracting me. Sorry about that. I'm just going to get this all lined up and put some glue on it. We'll get it laid down. And this, I mean, if you think about mass producing, wow. I mean, because this is really simple with just a square frame on your card base and then this element. And if you used, a color that you didn't mind die cutting that star out of your nativity scene, you could just lay it all down at once and one pass through your die cutting machine and you've got your elements. And so it would make for fast mass production of this. So I'm going to bring in some of my tape runner just to get that immediate stick, and then I'll need to add some glue. And I will kind of struggle with it getting it laid down on there because I didn't really put enough glue on there, but I'll go back and lay some glue down later and get it all to kind of stick down. And if you get any glue around your little elements, you can always rub your fingers on there and kind of tuck it in. Now I got this off-centered, and fortunately, because I used that tape runner, I was able to pick it up and move it without making a mess. But I will add some glue here and there later to get those little pieces to stick down. And I think this is gorgeous. I love the silver on the navy blue. I think it's really pretty. I've linked, everything in the description box, the nativity scene. And now I'm going to bring in the sentiments, and I'm just looking for something that speaks to the birth of Jesus, and I'm going to find one, and I'll just use it. And as I'm looking at it, I think I want to stamp all of these out because I like them all, and I'm going to need them because I'm going to make multiple cards. So this is where I'm like, okay, just stamp them all out, Shanna. And I don't do a great job of it because I'm using scrap that I find laying around in my craft room, and it wasn't quite wide enough to capture all of my sentiments. First, I grab an A2 size panel. It's not big enough. And so then I go looking around, and I find this piece of watercolor, and I'm like, oh, I can use the smooth side of it. And I thought that it was right when I laid it down on there, but I don't think I get the stamp positioned exactly right. And so then I miss a little bit of it, but it's okay because I've got several of them stamped out. It's the right side where I miss a little bit of the edge of them, but I've got a lot of them stamped out that I can use, and it'll work out. And I do this trick a lot. I'll just put a piece of packing tape on the carrier sheet for these stamps and lift it up and then stamp everything down all at once. This just makes quick work so you don't have to pull them all off, arrange them, put them all down, clean them, put them all back on your carrier sheet. I just use some packaging tape, stamp them all, then I can just real quickly clean them all and then just put the backer piece on it and put them away. So I'm going to bring in the Memento black ink, and mine is getting old. I need to re-ink or get another one. So I'll do multiple presses of this to get it stamped nicely. And I've got my pressing tool, and I realized that it was better if I just used my fingers to push. So you can see I've got several areas that I've missed. I'm just going to use my fingers. And a fun little fact, this is kind of crazy, but I had some bright neon type fingernail polish, and I was getting ready to do this video, and I thought, I can't do this video with this fingernail polish. It just was too wacky looking to do a nativity scene. So I real quickly filed all the polish off because it was gel and redid my nails in something a little more suitable for a Christmas scene. I know that's probably crazy, but I just thought I didn't want that bright orange fingernail polish for this video. Funny things you do when you have a YouTube channel and you're making videos with your cards. So I'm looking at them, and here's where I realized I missed a little bit, but I'm going to stamp it one more time, and then we'll have our sentiments that we can use. And so even though I did mess up some of them, I'm still going to have several that I can use, so it's not a complete fail. And with the way that I stamp them, it won't be any big deal to stamp, another one and get several sentiments. In fact, I've got that other winter sentiment stamp that I can use as well. So I'm going to have, a lot of sentiments ready for when I start mass producing. I've got a good bit of Christmas cards already made because I made some in July. So I'm well on my way. And see, I just put that sheet on there and boom, I'm done with that. I didn't have to fuss with pulling each one off and reorganizing them and everything. Cleaning that tape off of my craft glass mat there, which I've also got the glass mat linked in the description box below if you're interested in those. These are wonderful. They're magnetic, and you've got some magnets that you can use to hold them down. So I've chosen my sentiment, and I'm just going to use one of my Spellbinders A2 Matting Basic dies and die cut this out. And I'll use some tape so that I can get a good straight die cut piece. And this tape comes from Spellbinders. It actually came with my Better Press. It's a good tape to use for that. And I'm just going to go to my die cutting machine and get this die cut out. And next I decided to use some of that suede paper and just line it, just to kind of bring similar elements to the inside. And I thought, well, I could do that and I'll still have a good amount of this left. It's just too big to go on the front of it, and I don't want to take away from the scene. So I'm just keeping it simple, and I'm going to lay it down on this blue, and then I'll just bring in my scissors actually I'm going to cut it down. I thought about using my scissors, and I wanted to make sure I got it good and straight. So I'm just going to cut it down with my trimmer, and we'll have a good straight edge. Sometimes I don't cut exactly straight with my scissors. Now here I've measured off a little bit. I'll get it laid down on here, and then I will grab my scissors and just snip off that little edge so that we'll have an even amount. And I'm using some tape and some glue on this. And we're just going to have a little tiny edge of that around there. And these Tim Holtz scissors are great for getting a good straight line. They do help. There we go. We've just got it back. And we're just going to lay that down on the inside. And I'm still pressing on it, trying to make sure I've got it laid down nice. We'll get it glued down. Just lining it up on that glass mat with the line so that I can make sure that I get it straight on here. Just giving it a good press. And I've got, I thought, I'm going to add some of those silver stars on the inside of this card just to add some additional interest to the inside of my card. So I'm just going to bring in my scalp and cut two of these out. That was the scrap piece from our nativity scene, and I don't want to waste it because it's such fantastic cardstock. And I'll do two of them just because I've got two sides of that where I've got room to die cut them out. And then I'll get this laid down, and I'm going to show you another card that I made a couple of days ago. I was playing around with some lunar or solar paste, I don't know, and an embossed mat, I think, an embossing folder. So I'm going to show you one where I do a black and gold scheme on it. So this is the navy blue and the silver, and I'm going to show you the black and the gold, and let me know what you think. I'll bring it in at the end. Of course, I like the suede paper, but I'll be interested in hearing what you think about just the plain black with the gold as well. So I'm just still pressing down, and you've got some good texture with that silver paper. Now here's the gold. I just took navy blue. I did an embossing folder and used some of that paste on top of it. So I've got a couple different ways you can work with this, but I think they're both pretty. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.